We're going to learn how to use the foam roller to support unwinding any pain, discomfort in your body. And this has been a tool that I've used throughout my entire massage career, and I believe that it has just helped me with unwinding any areas that are tight from our repetitive motion. We get RMIs, which are repetitive motion injuries, from the things that we repeat on a day-to-day basis, even as simple as brushing our chompers every morning. So this is kind of like, in a sense, a toothbrush for our muscle tissue. So I want to go over a little bit of how our muscles work in the body and what exactly this tool is doing before we get on it. So in our body, we have all of these muscles, over 300 muscles in our body. And so I'm going to use the quad as an example. So the quad attaches into the hip and it crosses the knee joints into the lower leg. And all of those quads, quadriceps, there are 4 sections of the quad. And along that muscle tissue are muscle fibers. They're literally little strands of muscle, and they all just kind of blend together. So if you think about that, there's a bunch of straight lines, okay? And then as we work, as we are going about our day, I'm gonna use my yoga strap as an example, right? So this is going to be a muscle fiber. This is about 6 feet long. I'm gonna cut it in half so we kind of get the idea. So this is about the width of my arm span, okay? So this is a muscle fiber, a nice straight muscle fiber. And as we go about our day, we may build some tension in that straight muscle fiber. Now that's a small knot. It's not going to do too much damage, right? Still can kind of open up the wingspan a little bit. There's a little bend in both elbows. But if we keep doing this without unwinding it and untying that knot to bring it back to that length, it's shortening that muscle tissue. Okay, so there's 3 knots in my yoga strap, and my arm span, it's about 1 arm span into my chest, almost my sternum. So that's half. So this is kind of an exaggeration, but 3 knots in this yoga strap is already taking away half of its length that we started with originally. So with this knot, I'm gonna lay this right here. You can see that nicely on the yellow mat. So let's say this is your quad, right? Since we're looking at the quads, and this quad fiber, this one muscle fiber, has a huge knot in it. So what you're going to do is you're going to use the foam roller to roll over those knots, back and forth. And then there are going to be other techniques that I'll show you to break up that knot. And this is very similar. If you're familiar with giving massages, your massage therapist is identifying where the knot is, figuring out where that knot came from somewhere else in the body, and then realigning. Sometimes you have to work another area before the actual knot, the pain that you came in for, is actually going to be unwound and relieved, okay? So you use the foam roller, you know there's a knot in your quadricep, and you're gonna use the foam roller to roll that out. And as you do that over time, it'll release one little section. And you might think, hey, that feels really great. I feels like, it's impacting my knee joint and my hip, and it feels really good now, and I can move. Feels good to maybe do your workout now. It's not pulling. You don't feel this tension, this extra unnecessary tension. But then you do your workout and you are like, man, it's still tight. So you roll it out again. You do your rolling session, and maybe it unwinds a little bit more, right? And maybe you're okay with that little tiny knot in there, and that's fine. You go about your day, go about your work, go back to the gym, or do your walk or bike ride or hike up a mountain, and you get back down that mountain perhaps, and you're like, you know what, it's still bugging me. So you, at home, jump on your roller, do your stretching routine after every activity. Because so many people don't do this or stretch out and wonder why there's pain, discomfort, and there's knots. So you get home and you jump on the foam roller, and then yay, full release of that muscle knot, or that muscle fiber tanglement in your muscle, in your quad, and it restores the length. So I hope that little story and visual helped out. That is the whole primary purpose, of the foam roller. On this foam roller, this is from Trigger Point Therapy. I'm a huge fan of their products because I've had this foam roller forever. I've never had to replace it. It's hollow. So if you want to, they have different sizes. There's one that's half of this, but you can put this in your suitcase, in your travel bag, and you can stuff the center with undergarments, bathing suits, socks, that sort of thing, and still not necessarily lose too much of what, if this was solid and not hollow, that would take up a significant portion of your luggage space. So that's why I love this brand.